Good evening and welcome to the City of Pasco Council meeting. The council thanks you for being part of our city government. At meetings, the City Council takes formal actions on items, holds public hearings, and conducts other business of the city. Given the recent dramatic rise in COVID case rates within the community and due to the size of the council chambers and number of attendees, masks will be required for all attending the meeting in person, vaccinated or not. Agenda packets are available on the City of Pasco's website at www.pasco-wa.gov/agenda. And please note that the City Council meetings may be accessed through GoToWebinar. This meeting is also being televised live on Pasco TV, channel 191, on Spectrum Cable in Pasco and Richland, and is streamed on the city's Facebook page, website, and YouTube channel. This and previous council meeting video is available on the city's website. And lastly, the public may submit their comments and or questions by contacting the city manager or city clerk or using the feedback form on the city's website. And with housekeeping issues out of the way, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Alvarado.
Present.
Maloney.
Present.
Milne.
Present.
Roach.
Present.
Serrano.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Barajas.
Present.
And Mayor Martinez.
Present. Everybody's here. Thank you so much. May we all rise to the flag salute, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Next, we'll go to our consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by roll call vote as one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If further discussion is desired by council members or the public, the item will be removed from the consent agenda to a regular agenda and considered separately. So first on the consent agenda, we have the approval of minutes of the Pasco City Council meeting held on September 7, 2021, and the workshop held on September 13, 2021. Next, we have bills and communications to approve claims in the total amount of $5,834,277.08, and to approve bad debt write-off for utility billing, ambulance, cemetery, general accounts, miscellaneous accounts, and municipal court accounts receivable in the total amount of $110,810.21, and of that amount, authorize zero to be turned over for collections. Item C of the consent agenda is to move to reconfirm the Pasco Public Facilities District's reappointment of Mark Morissette to position number 2 with the term expiring on July 14, 2024, and Spencer Gillette to position number 3 with the term expiring on July 14, 2025, and Leonard Dietrich to position number 5 with a term expiring on July 14, 2022, based on the recommendations from local organizations. Item D of the consent agenda is to approve resolution number 4092, accepting work performed by Industrial Construction of Washington, LLC, under contract for project number 19073, water main replacement alley east of Weehee Avenue. And also a motion to approve resolution number 4093, accepting work performed by C&E Trenching LLC under contract for project number 15009 Wrigley Drive Extension. Item E of the consent agenda is a resolution for the I-182 Broadmoor Interchange Improvements, DKS Associates, Inc. Professional Services Agreement. And that's to approve resolution number 4094, authorizing execution of the Professional Services Agreement by the City Manager with DKS Associates, Inc. for the design of the I-182 Broadmoor Interchange Improvements Project. Item F of the consent agenda is a resolution with the Tri-Cities Youth Soccer Association Agreement, and that's to approve resolution number 4095, approving the amended agreement with Tri-Cities Youth Soccer Association and further authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. Item G is a resolution amendment number 1 to agreement with Pasco Chamber of Commerce for the business support program utilized with ARPA funds. And that's to authorize up to $2,970,000 in ARPA funds to be utilized in the business support program administered by the Pasco Chamber of Commerce. And another motion to approve resolution number 4096, approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with the Pasco Chamber of Commerce, a Washington nonprofit corporation for the business support program with American Rescue Plan Act funds. So with that, that is the consent agenda. If there's no questions or comments on the consent agenda, I would entertain a motion.
So this is Councilman Serrano. I thought we had a handful of items we were going to bring back to discuss on the TCYSA lease, in particular in relation to the costs associated with renting the fields. Maybe my brain checked out at some point last week, but my understanding was prior to taking a vote, we were going to have further discussion. I guess if someone could remind me, that's fine. I'm not asking necessarily to pull it or table it, but I was under the impression that we'd have a little more information on cost parity and those sorts of things before taking a vote. And again, if my memory slips me, please correct me. If not, I don't know that we need to pull this, but a little further information would be helpful for me.
Thank you, Councilmember Serrano. Is Director Radke in?
Director Radke, he is online, but I'm going to suggest that maybe we pull it and put it under a little later under the agenda.
Okay, and I would agree with that. I think it warrants pulling it and moving it to another item on the consent agenda, and we'll call it
10B. There.
Yeah, the unfinished seems to be the appropriate location.
10B. Okay. UISA. All right. Thank you for that, Councilmember Serrano. I do remember there being some questions. I thought maybe they would have been answered, but if not, then it warrants moving it to item 10B. So with that, is there anyone else?
Yeah, Mayor, this is Councilman Milne.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Councilman Milne.
Hey, I had a question on G where it says we're authorizing $2,970,000. Wasn't it $2,500,000 or $500,000? Was there something that I didn't catch on that? I mean, wasn't the total supposed to be $3,500,000 with $1 million already authorized?
Mr. Mayor, this is Richa Sigdel. I can answer that question.
Okay.
It was a little bit complicated with some of the splits to the education and the business portal programs. And overall in the staff report, in the workshop meeting, staff had requested about $2.7 million in total for the business assistance, essentially the direct allocation for the grants. And then we added the overhead, which adds to the close to $3 million. Council, you're right, Councilman Milne. We had requested and council had approved $1 million, and there was about $2.5 million or $1.5 million additional that we had requested. So a little bit of doing some arithmetic there, we came up with $2.7 million and the additional overhead on top of that.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Are we still going to have are we going to still hear more information on how much, because the last meeting we didn't know how many people were going to turn in their, asking for these grants or loans. Are we still going to hear about that and find out how much they are going to get? I know I was very curious on that, if it was going to be 20 or 30,000, or are we still going to know about that here coming up, or?
Yes, by the end of this week, early next week, we will have a full report available to council. At the close of the application, we had about 178 applications. and the total was north of $3 million. At this, not at this time, but the last week, Chamber of Commerce has spent a lot of time going back to the applicants and requesting further information because there was a lot of partial or missing documentation that was a requirement of the grant itself, but also important information to be able to deem how much of the revenue was lost during the pandemic. So that process at this point, I believe, is complete, and a committee will be meeting this week to look at all of the applications and make the necessary decisions. If there is a situation where the amount available to disperse is less than the amount that is eligible, then we would go the route of the proration as council recommended last week.
Okay, I appreciate that clarification. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Millie. Does that satisfy your question?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? If not, then I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda as amended.
Absolutely, Mayor. I move to approve consent agenda as amended.
Thank you. So there's a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda as amended, and that is to move item 10B, item with a TYSA to 10B. Do I hear a second?
Councilmember Maloney, I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilmember Maloney. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Serrano,
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Councilmember Maloney,
Yes.
Councilmember Milne,
Yes.
Councilmember Roach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Barajas,
Yes.
and Mayor Martinez.
Yes. All right, passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to proclamations and acknowledgements. And today we have a total of 2 proclamations. And the first one is a proclamation for September 15th through October 15th, 2021 as Hispanic Heritage Month. And City Manager Dave Zabel, do you want to take it off?
So, good evening, Mayor and Council. Commissioner Saul Martinez from our Arts and Culture Commission is here this evening virtually to present the proclamation. Saul and the Arts Commission worked on this and had brought this proclamation forward for Council's consideration. So, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you. And just so that there's no confusion, there's 2 Saul Martinez's here tonight. And one of them is on the commission, and the other one happens to be the mayor, current mayor of the city of Pasco. And today we're going to introduce Saul Martinez, who's on the commission, to maybe speak a little bit and give us the proclamation in Spanish. Mr. Saul Martinez, are you on the line?
I am present.
There it is.
Do I have video or no video? I'm not sure. Sorry.
I don't see a video. I can hear you.
It's perfectly fine. Well, Mayor Martinez, City Council, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Saul Martinez, no relation to the mayor. I am an artist, local artist. I'm also an art teacher at New Horizons High School down the street. I am a proud Chicano and son of 2 Mexican parents. So I stand before you to proclaim, this lovely month, why we celebrate September 15th through October 15th. The day of September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence of several Latin American countries, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence days on September 16th and September 18th, respectively. Also, Dia de la Raza, which is Day of the People, which is October 12th. It falls within that 30-day period. So the 2021 observance theme is Esperanza, a celebration of Hispanic heritage and hope. The theme invites us to celebrate Hispanic heritage and to reflect on how great our tomorrow can be if we hold on to our resilience and hope. It encourages us to reflect on all of the contributions Hispanics have made in the past and will continue to make in the future. It's also a reminder that we are stronger together. And for today, with your permission, I'd like to read the proclamation in Spanish, and Mayor Martinez will hopefully read it in English. So with your permission.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, thank you. Mes Nacional de la Herencia Hispana, 15 de septiembre a 15 de octubre 2021. Considerando que la diversidad cultural de América ha ayudado a fortalecer y a definir a nuestro país por cientos de años, y considerando que durante el Mes Nacional de la Herencia Hispana reconocemos a los millones de hispanoamericanos cuyo amor por la familia, el trabajo duro y la comunidad han ayudado a unirnos como pueblo y a sostenernos como una nación. Y considerando que también recordamos a aquellos orgullosos patriotas hispanoamericanos quienes lucharon y murieron por nuestro país en cada guerra y conflicto desde nuestra fundación. Y considerando que como empresarios y funcionarios públicos, estudiantes y artistas, los hispanoamericanos han proporcionado sabiduría, energía y liderazgo en comunidades pequeñas y grandes a lo largo del país. Y considerando que aunque muchos hispanoamericanos están prosperando hoy en día, otros aún están luchando para vencer obstáculos, incluyendo el idioma y las barreras culturales. Y considerando que renovamos nuestro compromiso para asegurarnos que todos los hispanoamericanos tengan acceso a las oportunidades necesarias para perseguir y realizar sus sueños. Y considerando que el tema del 2021, esperanza, nos invita a celebrar la herencia hispana y reflexionar en lo grande que puede ser nuestra mañana si nos aferramos a nuestra resiliencia y esperanza, y nos anima a reflexionar en todas las contribuciones que los hispanos han hecho en el pasado y continuarán haciendo en el futuro. También es un recordatorio que somos más fuertes unidos. Ahora, por lo tanto, a nombre de Saúl Martínez, alcalde de Ciudad de Pasco, Washington, en nombre de todo el Consejo de la Ciudad, por la presente proclamo el 15 de septiembre hasta el 15 de octubre del 2021 como Mes de la Herencia Hispana en la Ciudad de Pasco. Invitamos a todos a celebrar y apoyar la herencia abundante de nuestros residentes hispanos. En fe de lo cual suscribimos la presente con nuestro sello oficial de la Ciudad de Pasco, Estado de Washington, en este 20º día de septiembre del 2021. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to read that in my parents' native tongue. It means a lot to me.
Thank you so much, Saul Martinez. Really appreciate the time and effort that you and the other commissioners put into these type of activities and proclamations, and being able to celebrate all the different nationalities we have that represent in this beautiful city of Pasco is what makes us colorful and makes us the community that we are today. So with that, I would love to read it in English. And it's the Proclamation National Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th through October 15th, 2021. Whereas America's cultural diversity has helped strengthen and define our country for hundreds of years, and whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, we recognize the millions of Hispanic Americans whose love of family, hard work, and community have helped unite us as people and sustain us as a nation, and whereas we remember all those proud Hispanic American patriots who fought and died for our country in every war and conflict since our founding. And whereas as entrepreneurs and public servants, scholars and artists, Hispanic Americans have provided wisdom, energy, and leadership in both small and large communities across this country. And whereas while many Hispanic Americans today are thriving, others are still struggling to overcome obstacles, including language and cultural barriers. And whereas we renew our commitment to ensuring that all Hispanic Americans have access to the opportunities needed to pursue and realize their dreams. And whereas the 2021 theme, Esperanza, invites us to celebrate Hispanic heritage and to reflect on how great our tomorrow can be if we hold on to our resilience and hope, and encourages us to reflect on all of the contributions Hispanics have made in the past and will continue to make in the future. It is also a reminder that we are stronger together. Now therefore, I, Saul Martinez, Mayor of the City of Pasco, Washington, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2021 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the City of Pasco, and encourage all to celebrate and support the rich heritage of our Hispanic residents. And in witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Pasco, State of Washington, to be affixed this 20th day of September 2021. So thank you so much for the proclamation. And, you know, it's, I guess, just a couple of words I'd like to share to reflect on the Hispanic Heritage Month. You know, everybody has a story. Everybody from all countries have a story. And, you know, the goal or the ambition of so many people is just to come and share in this beautiful country and all the things it has to offer. And whereas my parents came here in their early 20s, maybe late teens, they came and they legally got to the United States and, you know, worked in the fields, and they planted the seed of resilience, the seed of endurance, the seed of a dream, you know, that could be realized. And, you know, I would encourage that for everybody, for all people coming to this country, you know, to have that ambition, the desire, the resilience, and to be productive members of society. And that seed can actually grow into so many beautiful things. And there have been so many attributes and contributions that Hispanics, not just Mexicans, but from all different Latin American countries, have made a difference in this country. And I'm going to get through this. And it's just, you know, it's a wonderful remembrance, and I just like to thank my parents for planting that seed, and for people like Saul Martinez, and for all the people who remind us of these opportunities. And I just hope that we can continue to be productive members of society and help us grow as a community. So with that, I appreciate it, and thank you so much. Next, we'll move on to, does anybody have any comments? Okay, next we'll move on to the next proclamation, and that is Soroptimist International Day. And today we have with us, hold on. Dragon Chip. Mrs. Dragonchuk with us tonight. And what I'll do is I will go ahead and, I'm so sorry, but you want to go ahead and state your name so I can say it right, please? Miss Dragonchuk. There you go. And today we also like to read this proclamation, the Soroptimist International Day, and I'll read this and then I'll give you an opportunity to share a little bit.
Okay.
Because I actually went in this week and looked up the definition of Soroptimist so I can get a better idea for what it actually was.
Good.
But where we have here, October 3rd, 2021, whereas the Soroptimist International Organization, founded on October 3, 1921, has been working for the past 100 years to economically empower women and girls through access to education, and whereas the Soroptimist International of Pasco, Kennewick Club was formed in 1948 and has been an integral part of the Tri-City community for the past 73 years, contributing over 750,000 and 200,000 hours of community service. And whereas the Soroptimist International of Pasco Kennewick has improved the lives of local women and girls by providing local awards and scholarships for women through the Soroptimist Live Your Dream Awards, who are working to better their lives through education and skill training. 20 women totaling 35,000 in 2021, and giving girls ages 14 to 18 tangible strategies and mentorship through the Soroptimist Dream It, Be It, one-day conferences in areas where they need knowledge and skills in order to pursue their career goals, and creating Tri-City Soroptimist Against Trafficking to bring awareness to the Tri-Cities of human trafficking and sexual exploitation of minors and co-founding the Tri-Cities Coalition Against Trafficking, and providing support and assistance to numerous community partners serving women and girls in the Tri-Cities. Now therefore, I, Saul Martinez, Mayor of the City of Pasco, Washington, do hereby declare October 3, 2021 as Soroptimist International of Pasco Kennewick Day in the City of Pasco, Washington, and encourage all residents extend congratulations to Soroptimist for its 100th anniversary, and to celebrate the Soroptimist International of Pasco Kennewick Club for their many contributions to our community. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Pasco, Washington to be affixed this 20th day of September, 2021. So with that, you want to provide some information?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Martinez. It's unfathomable that the Soroptimist organization is already 100 years old. And as you said, locally, we just recently turned 73 here in August. Soroptimist International Pasco Kennewick shells out thousands of dollars to local women in scholarships and awards each year. And this year, as you stated, we will be giving out $35,000 in scholarships and awards, which is amazing, and thanks to all of the hard work we do. And with the proclamation, we will be celebrating, as you said, and reflecting on all of our long years of hard work. And we're very much committed to continuing on and keep giving and providing women and girls with the resources they need to for economic empowerment. Yes. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you so much. We will give you a copy of, the clerk will give you a copy of these when, we'll maybe send it in the mail or maybe give it to you later.
Okay.
And thank you so much for coming in and sharing with that tonight. We hope that you can continue this great cause for young ladies and women throughout our Tri-Cities.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so those were the two proclamations of tonight, for tonight. Next, we're going to go into visitors other than agenda items. So this section, this item is provided to allow citizens the opportunity to bring items to the attention of the City Council or to express an opinion on an issue. Its purpose is not to provide a venue for debate or for the posing of questions with the expectations of an immediate response. Some questions require consideration by the council over time and after a deliberative process with input from a number of different resources. Some questions are best directed to staff members who have access to specific information. Citizen comments will normally be limited to 3 minutes, each by the mayor, and those with lengthy messages are invited to summarize their comments and or submit written information for consideration by the council outside of formal meetings. So with that, I know we have a couple of people who have signed up to speak tonight, and we'll start right here with Ms. Hunt.
Okay. Now, how do I do this? My name is Verna Lynn Hunt, and I live on 38th Avenue, or 38th and Sylvester in the 38 area. And we've only been in this house since February of 2020. And we didn't know that the street was as busy as it was, and we have a multi-handicapped son. And so once we got in here and bang, there was a severe accident in our own driveway. I just wanted to give people a look at what the house looked like prior to us buying it. It had a nice picket fence all around it, and I wondered why it was down when we bought it. But I found out later that they had been hit by a car traveling fast on Sylvester headed west and went into the yard. Next. Was it this way? Okay. This is the accident that happened at 9:20 the day before Memorial Day. And both of the cars in our driveway were totaled. And it was nothing of our fault. I was inside the house, had just put my son to bed, and he was just starting to say his prayers when this huge sound happened and we ran outside. This is the car, the way it looked. Honestly, could not believe that tucked between the way he pushed our truck and got stuck, that 3 people walked out of that uninjured. And to me, I was thanking God because I did not want somebody dying in my driveway right after I bought this house. This happened less than a year, about a year after we bought it. This is some more pictures. There were rocks everywhere because our truck was loaded with rocks that were going to the dump, and we're talking some big rocks. Enough that if you had been outside at that hour, sitting and watering or whatever, and got hit by those rocks, you would have been seriously hurt. They went out into the street. They went clear over into the lawn. This one shows that our truck, which was positioned extremely, that is a horizontal shot. The truck was actually pushed from a vertical position in the driveway, which I'll show later.
Can I ask you to summarize real quick? You have 1 minute, please.
Okay. And it stopped by that trash can instead of going into our the garage where my son played 20 minutes before that. So that's where it was parked, and it got moved all over, took out the bunch of things. And my concern is simply that there's so much speeding, and we don't feel safe. I don't feel safe anymore parling my car into my own driveway every night. I wonder, is it going to be there the next day? Because there's speeders every day and every night.
Well, thank you so much. And as we have communicated, I know that the chief of police has communicated, and also Mr. Worley. There is plans for that road, but we hear your concerns, and we're going to do what we can to try to mitigate. If my understanding, it's already started. City Manager Dave Zabel?
Yeah, there's been some stepped up enforcement efforts since we heard from the Hunts, and also request for qualifications from engineers per our schedule is out. The one thing I will share with council and the Hunts is that recall this is a grant-funded project, and the construction dollars, the grant construction dollars, are not available till fiscal year 2023. So we're a year from construction.
Yeah, that's a little scary for us.
Yeah.
It's scary for us.
Okay, so thank you very much. And if you would like, you could send maybe that power presentation to the clerk, and then she can put it on record if you haven't already done so. But anyway, thank you so much for coming tonight and sharing that. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Sure.
This is my son Aaron, and he doesn't talk real well, but he's got something to say. Go ahead, Aaron.
15 weeks ago, this person was doing too much speeding, and because he hurts someone, and after that, thank you for helping this person not speed so this person doesn't accidentally hurt someone.
Thank you, Aaron. Well,
thank you.
Okay, I know Werner went through and showed you the pictures, and I've heard plans. 2023 is scary, and that's what I wanted to talk about. My name is Lewis Hunt, by the way, and I want to, first of all, thank the whole city council, everybody, the mayor, the police department, for the action that's been taken so far. It's been tremendous, and I'm very thankful for that, okay? I love Pasco. And I love the diversity here. Okay, but anyway, getting to my point is, my feeling is there needs to be something done in the interim until 2003. My son could have died very easily in that accident. If that truck, which you don't have up, had been over, like I park sometimes, right close to the edge, that car would have missed that truck and went right through the garage door where my son had just been at, playing with his trains on that board and with the sawhorses underneath. It could have gone, it was headed right to it, right to that door. You can tell by the skid marks what was in the things in there. And this, not just for his sake, I mean, it didn't happen, thank God, but it's for other people there. It's gotten out of hand really bad. I mean, it's day and night. And I know they're doing everything they can. I know the police can't be everywhere at the same time. But I'm asking you to consider some temporary solution until the time that this project gets started. And I have several ideas. The officer that stopped by and talked to me today, wonderful person. And one of his ideas, and I'll tell you my ideas, and these are just ideas, I'm tossing around, hoping that other people can come up with some temporary solutions, is to put speed bumps with signs temporarily. I talked about putting one of those signs up with the, which shows you how fast you're going, but he's afraid that some kids will use that as a marker to be able to go even faster so they can, circumvent that. Well, that was my idea. See, we're in a crash zone from the bridge on Sylvester to Road 60, which comes up. Sylvester comes both ways. We're about in the center, maybe a little more towards the bridge. But right that whole area, I've talked to several neighbors. They've had cars come through their fences and things before too. This is twice that it's happened at our residence. So for some reason we've been lucky, I should say unlucky, to have this happen.
I totally understand, and I don't want to be rude, but your 3 minutes are up, and we get the message. We understand the severity of this situation, and we're going to do what we can. I don't know if you have any other comments, Mr. Zabel?
Yeah, I know Director Worley, and he's unfortunately not here this evening. He's been in contact with the Hunts, and perhaps some of the suggestions that you're thinking about, Mr. Worley, I think is back next week, and we can make sure that you guys make contact with him. He's a professional civil engineer, and is a very qualified person working for the city that can maybe discuss some of those ideas with you.
So thank you so much, Mr. Hunt. We totally respect.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah,
I appreciate just the concern and everybody's part in being interested in our situation.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to approach the bench? Yes. Mr. Cortinas, how are you doing tonight?
Good, thank you. Did you want to? Just a point of information here, Mayor. On your consent agenda, when you guys, you asked, here there will be no separate discussion of these items if further discussed desired by the council members or the public.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you asked the council if there's anybody had any questions, but you didn't ask the public.
Oh, actually, I did, Mr. Cortinas. I could have sworn that anybody else have anything to say.
Well, I thought you were talking to the council, so I didn't get a chance to say, yes, somebody from the public does have comments to make concerning this issue. And now that you've already voted on it and passed it, now my comments are null and void because you didn't say anybody from the public have something to say concerning these items. I would have came forward, but all you did was say, is there anybody else talking to the council? And I was not asked if I could come up and share any comments. With that said, that's exactly my point tonight. Congressman Lewis said,
could you please?
Congressman Lewis said that it's always, he has been arrested 9 times as a congressman, and because he's always causing good trouble. Well, I think sometimes I'm marked as causing good trouble. And tonight it's no different. With the monies that are trying to be asked to see how you're going to spend some monies for the sprinkler systems for the businesses, that continues being rolled over. Here we have another month and still no decision has been made. They asked the city administrator to explain, you know, the ordinances. All we got was, what ordinances are they talking about? I think it's time that the city takes action. I think you were told last week you had a visit with Mr. Morales. Still no action. We just keep kicking it down the road. And these businesses are suffering from not getting help from the city of Pasco. City Councilman Maloney has suggested, let's put money away from the ARPA funds and let's give it to these business owners with these old buildings that need these sprinkler systems. No action has happened. We continue, kicked another month. September's over with. Now we have to wait till next month to find out if the city council is ever going to take any action on helping these businesses. As to the funds for ARPA, you know, it was suggested by you, Mayor, that we give less money to some of these businesses. Instead of $30,000, let's drop it down to $20,000. I don't support that. These businesses have been suffering for 19 months, 18 going on 19 months, losing funds and not able to get any help. Little help was given back in the summer.
I want to ask you something.
I'm going to speed it up, but I didn't get a chance to speak during the public consent agenda because I had a lot more to share at this point. The ARPA funds, the city has been sitting on that money since June 8th. We're in September and no checks have been signed to help these business owners.
Mr. Cortines, we're doing what we can do.
Well,
I'm going to ask you to summarize.
Yeah, I'm summarizing it. Absolutely, I am.
You got one more minute.
And no checks have been signed. Last week it was said that the city of Pasco was way ahead of everybody. That's not true. County of Yakima County is signing checks. Other cities in the city of Washington State are signing checks. My sister's on the city council in Auburn. They're signing checks. And the city of Pasco continues kicking down the road. We have my good friend Dave, the administrator, chose the Pasco Chamber to distribute the funds, and Dave Zabel sits on the board with the city of Pasco. Is that conflict of interest? Absolutely. We can't be doing business with outside third parties when we represent the city and also represent the chamber that we're giving the money to. That's a conflict of interest.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. My name is Derek Alexander. I live at 2090 Kingston Road in Richland, Washington. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to address you and the council tonight. Purpose of my comments, and I know I have 3 minutes, it should be able to be well within that, is to address the difficulty in getting civil engineering drawings for residential subdivisions approved in the city of Pasco. If you follow the housing market at all in the Tri-Cities, especially in Pasco, you'll know that housing lots and housing itself is in short supply. There are several people that have and groups that are working through this in spite of all the challenges in the last 2 years to get more lots out there for homeowners. We currently own 60 acres on Burns Road between Road 84 and Road 90. Excuse me, we received approval, preliminary plat approval for 233 lot subdivision on that property in the end of 2020, in December. We submitted civil engineering drawings per all of the published city standards in April 19 of this year. We received our first set of comments back from city staff in June 10th, and we responded with the changes requested in July of this year. And I stand before you today to say that we still do not have approval of those plans to begin the 75 lot first phase of that subdivision. This is not without considerable effort on the development community, the engineering community, in trying to address standards and sticking points within city standards to try and improve the process. We've been sitting in on developer outreach meetings that started last year, monthly meetings, trying to improve the process. We've been promised improvements. I can tell you, it seems like things are getting worse. And I'll just point to one example and I'll conclude my comments. One of the major sticking points in this last round for us has been a traffic impact analysis. And you may wonder what that is, and we actually kind of wondered ourselves what that was. In fact, one of the engineers with 3+ decades of experience.
Excuse me, sir, excuse me.
We might need to pause.
We just need to pause for a second.
Yeah.
So nobody can hear?
I don't think the council can hear it.
Oh, okay.
Did we know what time that went off?
I don't know. Let me talk to John.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir.
That's fine.
But I want to make sure that the rest of the council members are listening to what you have to say here. It's going off the hook here. Trying to get a hold of me.
Oh, okay.
Check, check. Mr. Radkai, can you hear me? Richa or Zach? I can see you're talking, but I can't. Okay, but now we can't hear them. Hang on just a second.
Let's see here.
Try that one more time. Zach or Richa?
We can hear each other, but not Chambers.
We'll try that again. Zach or Richa?
Hi, John. This is Zach.
Okay. I think that works.
Do we got it, John?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
And so, do we know how far back they were? Do we know that?
We're able to listen through Facebook Live.
Okay, so did you hear the comments from Mr. David Cortinas?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so if I'm under the impression everybody's back on, and I apologize, I was not attending to the phone. So, sir, if you could
start over again, or
just kind of backtrack a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
Go ahead and get started with you. I know that there's the engineering department.
There. Okay. I'll just let's see. Yeah, my comments today are trying to get engineering plans for residential subdivisions approved more expediently within the city. I just go back to our example. We own a 60-lot subdivision that's zoned for residential housing on Burns Road. That was preliminarily plat approved for the 233 lots on that property in December of 2020. We submitted civil engineering drawings per all the published city standards for a first phase of 75 lots in April of this year. We received comments back in June of this year. We resubmitted for approval in July, and I can stand before you today and tell you that we still do not have approved plans for that property to begin building houses for homeowners. One of the major sticking points for the delays has been something called a traffic impact analysis. This request was made when we submitted our engineering plans. There was no precedent for a TIA. In fact, an engineer associated with the project with 3+ decades of experience building houses in the city of Pasco was asked to direct us to where that is in the city standards. It was there, but it had never been requested before. That has eaten up a tremendous amount of engineering time and remains to this day to be part of the issue in not getting these plans approved. It's not without considerable effort among the engineering and development community to try to mend the processes. We've been sitting in on monthly developer outreach meetings with city engineering staff since late last year. We were promised that the processes were going to get better. It seems like, from our perspective, they're not improving, but actually worsening because of these additional requests and for information. Each time we submit requested information, follow up on what the city's requesting, that seems to be okay, but then there's something else that is presented. I was promised that early this week we would have some signed drawings for it so that we can begin construction. Then a request came today for additional plan for striping of the street, and this has not ever been mentioned since we submitted plans back in April. And I just throw that out as an example of seem to be the moving finish line as we go through this process. So I just wanted to bring that to council. Just like to improve this, get more lots out there for homeowners, and ours is just one of 2 projects that are particularly large that were planned to be in construction at the beginning of this, actually this summer. We could have had 200+ lots available for residents right now, but here we are going into winter, and if we don't get started soon, we'll be another 6 months, probably April, before we can even begin construction again. So
right.
Thank you for your time, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. It's been noted. Anyone else? All right, well, thank you for your comments tonight.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this is Emily Maloney. I'm
Oh.
online. If I could make my comments, please.
I have you right here. So I apologize, Mrs. Maloney. Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am here tonight on behalf of the Pasco Taco Crawl Committee to invite the council and the community to the Pasco Taco Crawl because we are back. Because we couldn't do the Cinco de Mayo timeframe that we normally do, we're having the event during Hispanic Heritage Month. This year's event runs October 1st through October 16th. Booklets are $25 plus shipping and fees until tomorrow, when they will go up to $30 plus shipping and fees. This year will be much the same in that crawlers will get to sample 20 tacos from each of 20 vendors in the east side of Pasco. However, we have a slight difference in that we will be mailing out booklets due to the pandemic. Crawlers will be able to vote for the best taco in Pasco through the duration of the event. We will announce the winner on Taco Tuesday, October 19th over Facebook Live. And as always, all proceeds benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs. Tickets can be purchased through our website, pascotacocrawl.com.
Mrs. Maloney, thank you so much. I will have you know that as I was getting prepared to come here tonight, I saw you on the local news and did a great job getting this out. And I will have you know that I bought 2 booklets and I'm ready to gain some more weight. And I'm always looking forward to having these great tacos. And they, what was his name? I'm sorry who they featured tonight, but they looked amazing. Yes.
Is our reigning champion, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the work you guys are doing with the Boys and Girls Club and keeping this taco crawl, because I got to tell you, I know there's even people from Spokane that want to come and participate in this event. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Did I forget anybody else? Thank you for speaking up, Ms. Maloney. All right, anybody else? If not, then we'll move along to next on the agenda. And that's reports from committees and or officers. Anybody from the council have anything they would like to report?
Ms. Alvarado?
Yes, Councilmember Alvarado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just reporting, attended Ben Franklin Council of Governments meeting, and I think just to say that our the various activities is happening for transportation and and economic development. I think that more than anything is that the Council of Governors is really becoming a pretty strong organization. And so they have gotten some very great kudos in their financing and just organizing themselves. I think also just to note that their economic development department has really grown, and that it'll be a great, just a great asset to our community, more so than it has in the past. So just thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Alvarado. Anyone else? Okay, then if not, we'll move along to item number 8, hearings and council actions on ordinances and resolutions relating thereto, none listed. Ordinances and resolutions not relating to hearings and not listed. So we'll move on to item number 10, where we have some unfinished business. And we have the Danilyuk Short Plat Sewer Service Requirement Appeal, continued from July 19th, 2021. Mr. White, do you want to get us informed on that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll be very brief. This is an appeal of a denial of a sewer waiver for a proposed short plat on the west side of Road 96. We've been going through conversations with the appellants for several months now. We think we've worked out a mutual acceptable solution or compromise, and we're asking council for another continuation so that we can do the proper documenting and record keeping that's necessary to get the right conditions on the short plat. So with that, Mr. Mayor's staff would request that you open the hearing and then a motion for continuation.
Okay. So let's see here. So Mr. White, is the hearing closed right now?
No, but our legal folks have advised that the proper course of action would be to open it and then continue it to the November 1st date.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, this is Eric Ferguson, City Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Ferguson, go ahead.
Yeah, so technically, in terms of the legal process, yes, the hearing is open and we've just been continuing it. I think what we were referring to was bringing the matter up and then continuing it again. So, but I think that there was a little bit of confusion about in terms of actually opening the hearing. Already been open for a while.
Okay, so would you like me to formalize it by opening the hearing first?
No, I think it's already open, and bringing it up on the agenda just brings the matter back before the council, and then at this point, we should need to take some action going forward.
Okay, so the public hearing is open at this moment. And does anyone else want to speak to the item? Please Anybody else would like to speak to this item? Yes, sir. If you could state your name for the record, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and council members, my name is Bretton Griffin. I'm the land surveyor with Rogers Surveying, helping our clients through the short plat process. And I believe where we're at in this whole process is the short plat was submitted in February or March, and we've been, submitted it with the intent and hope to connect on to or be on a septic system, since we are 1,100 plus feet from the nearest public sewer connection. And we've been in conversations with Mr. White, and I believe what they are working on putting together is presenting you guys with a solution going forward for all similar situations such as this one of approving a waiver to connect onto septic until such a time that public sewer becomes publicly available within the code specifications on that. And I just want to point out too that I have had 2 other potential clients contact our office for doing similar subdivisions in these donut hole areas that were incorporated into the city that are a significant distance away. The one was about 3,000 feet. And I said, if we can't figure this out on 1,100 feet, I don't know how we're going to be able to figure this out on 3,000 feet. And so I just would like to reiterate the importance of the council and the city as a whole, with the community development director, figuring out a way to make this process work, just not for this client specifically, but for all of the members of the community that are in similar situations that are wanting to subdivide their property in these areas. So I thank you for your time on that and listening.
Thank you. Yep. All right, thank you. All right, so that's the first call. Second call for anyone else? All right, so the third call. And so we're not, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ferguson, but we're not closing the hearing, but we're gonna continue it. Let's see.
That's correct, that's correct.
We're gonna continue the hearing until November 1. So if there's no one else, I would entertain a motion.
Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. I move to continue the appeal hearing until November 1st, 2021, City Council meeting.
Thank you. So there's a motion to continue the appeal hearing until the November 1st, 2021 City Council meeting. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilwoman Roach. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. It carries unanimously. Thank you. And next, we're going to move to the item 10B, which is the, let's see here, the resolution for the Tri-Cities Youth Soccer Association. Council Member Serrano, I know that there were some questions, and Director Zach Ratkai, are you on the line?
Yes, can everyone hear me and see me?
Yes, on both fronts for me.
Okay. Can I get acknowledgement from the council chambers?
Yes, I can hear you, Director Ratkai.
Okay, great, thank you. We're having obviously some issues earlier. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. We did include some of the items addressed within the written staff report, but I'm definitely happy to provide that directly to the council at this time. Just a quick recap, in 1995, TCYSA, which then was known as the Tri-City Junior Soccer Association, TCJSA, entered into a 25-year agreement. This agreement not only provided soccer on the 44 acres, but also provided a way that TCJSA at the time could develop and construct the 44 acres to facilitate the operation of soccer fields. For the agreement and to offset the initial development costs, TCYSA pays somewhat of a prorated amount to reconcile those initial development costs throughout the term of the agreement. In 2005, the agreement was updated to reflect the name change to TCYSA, as we know today, and to add this 10-year extension, which is what we're discussing this evening. So TCYSA does have rights to the field, and since the time based upon their initial development of the field on behalf of the city. The addition to the stipulation as far as offsets and getting into some of the reasons why we have a third party conducting the public soccer on our city-owned fields. TCYSA maintains all buildings on the property, so there's restroom facilities and some storage buildings there. They configure the fields each season. They control and maintain all soccer-related equipment such as goalposts, and they strike the field on a regular basis for play. For the Parks and Recreation Maintenance Divisions, our staff capacity, even back in 1995 until to this day, we're unable to offer this level of service to the community for soccer-specific activities on our fields, so that's why TCYSA handles that for us. With this extension, talking about some of the costs for, I guess, subleasing of the fields and some of the tournament costs and that sort of thing, the TCYSA and staff has worked in a new addition to the agreement. There is a requirement that annual rent and facility usage costs are submitted to the city for review. This is a provision to ensure that costs don't escalate too high and remain on par with facilities in the area, and that the public offering remains accessible to the community. It also gives staff a stake in ensuring that costs remain competitive to that of the region. It is our intention that we want to work with TCYSA to make sure that costs don't escalate too high for usage on that site. During the workshop last week, I think council, we also talked about some of the large-scale usage of the facility and traffic in the area. We'll take a look at some of the traffic issues and discuss that with our Public Works Division. This is the largest soccer facilities in the Tri-Cities. If you recall, last week we discussed about a year and a half, 2 years ago, Visit Tri-Cities did a sports facility study for the region, and Pasco is known as the soccer city because of this facility. TCYSA utilizes this facility to its fullest, as we all know, and I think a question came up, could they utilize other facilities in the region? Other fields throughout Pasco, we have them scattered throughout the city of Pasco. They're smaller in scale, and those are typically utilized by organizations such as Three Rivers Soccer and then the YMCA. We are working on design right now for a 10-field soccer facility on A Street, east of Oregon Avenue, to provide a large-scale facility and on the eastern side of Pasco, which would fill certainly a gap in facilities in that area, and add additional tournament-ready level soccer fields to sort of offset and alleviate some of the capacity issues we have there as well. Trying to think, I think I covered the questions from the minutes, but I'm here to answer any questions to the best of my ability. Mr. Gavel-to-gavel is out this evening, so I'm here to serve at council's pleasure.
Thank you, Director Radke. Councilmember Serrano, do you have any other comments?
No, I think that really is helpful, and I think equally important, that kind of brings an extra level of transparency to the public. Several of us last week were mentioning that we get hit with questions from the public of why is this expensive, a little more than other places, and bottom line is that there's kind of an extra level of care that they get with that facility, and I appreciate that. Now, I don't play soccer, so I don't know whether that's accurate or not, but it is a beautiful facility, no question. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you taking the time, Mr. Radke.
You bet.
Well, I personally would like to just make a comment, and when we make these deals with the third party, I know it's necessary and it's the best thing, but just I guess my concern is that we keep it equitable for everybody, and that TYSA, at least at a minimum, will bring a report to explain how they're keeping it equitable and making sure they're fair to all our citizens in Pasco. Mr. Radke, is that part of the agreement?
It's not part of the agreement, but I think that the annual reporting to city staff on rent and facility usage costs, I can bring it back to TCYSA, but I'm more than sure that they're very amenable to coming back to council on a regular basis, whether it's annually or after before the soccer season begins or after the soccer season begins, and give just a quick little report and update to the council. In the Administrative and Community Services Department, one of our goals is to provide more of those statistics to council. So I think it would be a great opportunity to bring our partners in and talk about how many tournaments were held, how many kids learned soccer, that sort of thing. So we could bring back the regular reporting to the council.
Is that something that needs to be changed before we vote on it, or it could be something that could be included in the agreement?
I would have to defer to legal on that. We're happy to work with TCYSA to include that in the agreement. But it's kind of up to the protocol, I suppose.
Mr. Ferguson, would you suggest that we table this item until we can somehow include it in the agreement to keep it equitable for the City of Pasco residents?
So one of the things that we oftentimes do in situations like this is make sure that when we make the motion, we allow for minor substantive changes to be made after the council votes, so that it's clear that what council voted on was actually what was signed. So you could do one of two things. You could either table it and bring it back in its final form so that you can approve it and see it in the document, or you could amend the motion that's been put in the report to include minor substantive changes.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, I would recommend we give staff the latitude to work that change into the agreement.
So there's no big hurry, we can?
No, I would recommend you pass it with the
okay.
latitude that
Okay.
staff have the ability. I think the DCYA will be agreeable to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, any other comments from council? If not, Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to entertain a motion with the, let's see, how can we word this?
Mr. Mayor, I guess what I would do is just, if you want to add to the motion at the very end, and right after the period there, you could add and make minor substantive changes there too.
Yes. Did you get that, Mayor Pro Tem?
It's a little hard to hear. Can you repeat that, please? Can you make minor?
Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, after the end of the motion where it says to execute the agreement, if we could just add and to make minor substantive changes there too.
I think I got it. Give me just a second. I'll get bring it up. All right. So I move to approve resolution number 4095, approving the amended agreement with Tri-Cities Youth Soccer Association and further, actually, let me trace that back to Tri-Cities Youth Association and make minor substance changes there too. And authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. How does that sound?
That'll do.
All right, so there's a motion to approve resolution number 4095 with those subject changes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Were you able to get that? Sir, thank you. Okay, well, thank you for that, Mr. Serrano and council. And that concludes our unfinished business. I will move to item number 11, new business. Do we have anything, City Manager Dave Zabel?
Nothing further this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Miscellaneous discussion? None listed. And to my knowledge, there's no need for an executive session tonight.
Not this evening.
Thank you, sir. So with that, thank you so much for everybody's comments. Thank you, council. And it is 8:14 p.m. and this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.